Hey there, and thanks for checking out this video. And just before I get any further, I just wanted to give a little disclaimer that I am not being sponsored by the Olympic Committee or any of its affiliates. I just wanted to draw the newest mascots, and that is really it. So, as I said, I am drawing the new 2020 Tokyo Olympic mascots for my very first speed paint. Yeah! I just thought they were so stinking cute that I just had to draw them. And they kind of remind me of Pokemon. And if you know me, you know I love me my Pokemon, so these guys are just awesome in my opinion. The mascot designs are actually based on Japanese culture though, and I have a little article here that the design team behind them sort of put together to describe each of the mascots and who they are and what they can do. So I'm going to read that because they're going to do a whole lot better describing them than I could, you know, just trying to do it myself. So here we go. The Olympic mascot. So the Olympic mascot is a character that embodies both old tradition and new innovation. The mascot has an old-fashioned charm that reflects tradition and also has a high-tech, cutting-edge vibe. It has a strong sense of justice and is very athletic. The mascot has a special power, allowing it to move anywhere instantaneously. So this guy can teleport. That would be the little guy on the right. I forgot to mention that. This is the guy on the right with the square headgear sort of stuff. So yeah, he can teleport. And then this is for the one on the left. The Paralympic mascot is a cool character with cherry tactile sense and a supernatural power. The mascot is usually calm, however, it gets very powerful when needed. It has a dignified inner strength and a kind heart that loves nature. It can talk with stones in the wind. It can also move things by just looking at them. So this one has telekinesis. Okay, they're both psychic. Cool. Very cool. I love their designs. It's so fun. I love the pink and the blue. There were actually two other possible mascot pairing options that were voted on, but these guys beat out. And I'll put a picture of them somewhere here on the screen so you guys can check out what they look like. I think they all look pretty cool, but I am quite fond of this little pairing that I'm drawing right here. Let's see, what else can I talk about? Ah, yes, the sketching process. The sketching process I did not film, mainly because I tend to find the sketching portion of any speed paint to be kind of the most boring part, and also it keeps the video shorter if I leave it out. So yeah, that's why it's not in here. But if you guys are interested in seeing any sort of like sketching process for me, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll include it in my next speed paint. Who knows? Yeah. And let's see, then the lining process, the stuff that I'm doing right here. Oh boy, I had a lot of trouble with the lining. Ugh. I don't know what my deal was, but I had to redraw this entire picture probably about 7 different times because like I kept messing up, I kept getting offline, I kept smudging things, and it was driving me nuts. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite a perfectionist when it comes to my line work, and so I was just like, this is not good enough, and I redid it about 7 different times, and like actually 7, so you know, yeah, I am definitely a perfectionist. Yeah. But anyway, you know, this last attempt, it didn't turn out too bad, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep it, and we'll try this and color it and make it look good. And I'm sure the other, you know, 6 attempts that I'd made probably weren't that bad, but you know, that's perfectionism, man. It's never good enough. Yeah. I gotta work on that. Let's see. Ah, yes, the materials that I used for this drawing. The paper that I'm using here is my Borden and Riley bleed-proof paper. The pen that I'm using to ink everything is one of my Copic multiliners, and it's a .25 size. And what I'm using to color it are my Copic sketch markers. And then I did use my Sakura white jelly roll just to fix a few mistakes here. And then we did do a quick jump here into the coloring process. I do want to apologize right now before I go any further with this about the fact that my drawing, I just could not keep it in the center of the screen while I was coloring it. I'm so used to having my drawing literally like right up next to my face while I'm coloring because I'm very detail oriented, and so I gotta zoom in on the thing. And so I would constantly be pulling the drawing closer to me even though my camera was positioned, a little further in front of me. And so it got really weird trying to, keep it right in the center in the camera's view, and also being able to, stick with my typical coloring style. And so yeah, I am so sorry about the really weird camera stuff that happened with this coloring process. Yeah. I will definitely be fixing that for next time. And I actually had some trouble with the coloring itself too. I think I tried to film the coloring about 3 different times because like the first time my video file corrupted and so I couldn't use that. And then the second time my head kept getting in the shot and covering the drawing completely. And then this third time, by the time it was done there, like after having drawn 7 different line arts and tried 3 different times to film the coloring, I was just like, I'm done. I'm using this. I will cut out the worst parts, but this is what you're gonna get. So I'm sorry, I do apologize, really. I will fix it for next time. Oh, and also, if you probably noticed that I did sort of thicken up some of the line art in certain areas and cleaned it up a little bit off camera, just so that I could, just fix it a little bit. And also, I didn't think that was the most, exciting thing to watch, so I just took that off camera. And also, I did color in the center Olympic ring because it's just completely black, and I was like, go ahead, do it. And I also did the little intricate designs on their foreheads off camera as well, because when it comes to intricate designs, once again, I like to stick my head right up next to my drawing and like zoom in and watch it. So yeah, you won't see any of that, but I tried to get the most interesting parts in the video itself. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Ah, yes. At the end of this drawing, I did add a little extra sort of design element to it because I felt that the drawing was unbalanced color-wise. The colors in the Olympic rings, they just, I don't know, they didn't fit too well, and they were, just a flat color while everything else was nicely shaded and stuff like that. So, in order to balance out the drawing, I decided to add in some confetti around the little characters. So, like they're running past the finish line and they just broke through the tape and people are throwing confetti on them because they just won the race. So yeah, it still fits with the theme. I just added it at the end. You'll see that when it comes up. And I think it really helped balance out the drawing and everything like that. So I'm pretty pleased with the outcome anyway. And then I guess I could talk a little bit about my coloring process here. So what I like to do when I'm coloring with Copic markers is I like to put down a base color first, which ends up being the lightest color or the highlight color. I like to saturate the paper. It makes it easier for the markers to blend on each other instead of, putting marker on dry paper, basically. It's kind of like the wet on wet technique for watercolor, but this is with markers instead. And even though, I do have marker on the paper, it still does dry fairly quickly, and so I do still have to go back in and sort of re-wet the paper with, I usually use the lightest color to help blend things out when I actually do go back in and put the darker colors in. So when I'm doing the shading part, what I do basically is I put the dark color down and then I go back in with the lightest color and I just sort of flick out from the darkest color to the lightest color and just sort of blend them together and saturate the paper with the ink again. And I do that for pretty much every tone of marker that I put on there. And then I do add a little bit of like color highlight to it. I do add in a little bit of yellow just to give it a warmer feel. Sometimes I do like to add blue in the shadows to give it some real depth, because shadows tend to be cool while highlights tend to be warm. But I only did the highlights here with the yellow, which you'll be seeing here. Not too long. But I think that's really all I had to say about this drawing though. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Once again, I will definitely be fixing the camera angle problems and everything from like this for the next time. And if you're like this video, please be sure to leave a comment and give it a thumbs up, yeah. And if you're interested in seeing my future videos and my improvement as an artist and just hearing my, opinions and viewpoints on stuff that I have learned over the years as an artist myself, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Yeah, subscribe. Okay, good. Okay. All right. And also, if you are interested in keeping up with me on my other social media profiles, I will be sure to put all the links to those places in the description. I will also be sure to put links to my support pages as well in the description, because I do have a Patreon and a Ko-fi and a Redbubble and an Etsy, so you can, pledge to me and get rewards, or you can purchase merchandise from me. So yeah, it's all good here. And I think that is it. So I will see you all next time. Later days.